Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name Andika Kurniawan. My student number is 76. In this opportunity, I will present my paper with the title is The Awareness of Working Class About Their Condition in the Hunger Game Movie 2012, a Marxism Approach. Okay. The first chapter, there are two parts consisting of background study, research questions, and objectiveness. Background study. The background of doing this study is because we live in a capitalistic era, which is very oppressive and powerful. Capitalism is a model of production in which the owner of the capital freely perform various factors of production in order to continue to enrich the owner of capital. Capitalism severely oppressed the working class by exploiting power and hegemonize class consciousness. This exploitation is not only to the working class but also to natural resource, culture, and even education. In capitalism, it is very beneficial for the owner of capital with the capital they have in the form of money, relation, and privilege. This operation is hereditary and bourgeois continue to maintain this operation in order to maintain their status quo. Various dimensions of intervention by the bourgeois to persuade the power is ranging from economic, culture, politics, and education. These various dimensions are their media to continue hegemonize and the consciousness of the working class and unknowingly continue to exploit either physically or psychologically. The struggle for freedom from oppression by the capitalists is many and has long been carried out by the working class. They take many dimensions to be free from the oppressions, one of which is through the culture, and film is the one way to instill awareness that there is oppression by the bourgeois. Because films can be a medium to share thought from filmmakers to audience, either explicitly or implicitly. And I think the film The Hunger Games reflects how the bourgeois oppress the working class through hegemony in order to reduce the working class awareness that they are being oppressed by the bourgeois. This film is adapted from the novel with the same title, which is released in 2008 by Susan Collins, an American writer. This film is product by Nina Jacob and John Kelly. This film has duration of 142 minutes and was released as a premiere on March 12, 2012. This film can be said to be success because it has received many various awards and the most prestigious is receiving several nominations at the MTV Movie Award 2012. This film is trilogy from the next film, namely The Hunger Games Catching Fire 2013, Mockingjay Part 1 2014, and Mockingjay Part 2 2015. This film tells the survival struggle of Katniss Everdeen by Jennifer Lawrence and Peter Malak by Josh Hutcherson, who come from the mining district. The Hunger Games competition held by the Panam state government. In the competition, there are 24 players from 12 districts in Panam and they were placed in one arena and had to kill each other until there was only one winner. The purpose of the competition was commemorate and the success of Panam troops thwarting the working class rebellion in the past. Okay, research question. First, how the Hunger Games competition deepens working class awareness of their plight. Second, how to describe the form of working class oppression through intrinsic elements such as themes, characters, or settings. Next is objective. The purpose of this research is to find out how the form of hegemony are accepted by the worker and to find out how the competition in Hunger Game films reduce the awareness of the working class and that they are actually being oppressed by the bourgeois. Okay, there are three parts in this chapter. The first is previous study, underlying theory, and notion of rebellion. Okay, previous study. There have been many studies of the Hunger Game before, and here are some of them. First, by Lubeck in 2014. After analysis of both feminism and the Hunger Games separately, it is obvious that there are overlapping sections. Everything can be seen as a embodiment of third wave feminism in its flexibility of sexuality and support of female empowerment. This is from feminism perspective. Next is from Moore and Coleman in 2015. The Hunger Game is in then similarly underscores the importance of considering interconnections between media and representation, political economy, and conception of colorblind American society. Focusing on this relationship aids in understanding how youth grow up in a multicultural U.S. developed nations, of who inherently desirable, lovable, and worthy of empathy and respect. The next in from Shirin Hazard in 2017, The Hunger Game is a connect to our today's society. Where we examine our society, the class Marxism, we discover that its struggle is built on a series of ongoing conflict between social classes. The chief reason of this conflict is varying ways the member of society work and use their economic resource, the methods of economic production, and the social relationship they engender from the economic structure of society. The next from Bonap in 2014, the Hunger Game has a major impact on both youth and adult in today's society. Katniss has as a strong female character, inspired many girls and women to be more independent. She has inspired many to take action against injustice and cruelty. Katniss' critique of the society she lives in inspire many readers to examine their their own society and react against the things they just unjust. This proof is the dual critique in the Hunger Game is a very effective way to spur the interest to look at the society in a critical way. Next from Mutiara in 2015, The Hunger Games, it can be concluded that the trilogy is showing the democracy might not be as wonderful as in fairy tales, especially when it comes from same ground of power trust. The freedom that democracy offers cannot reach for the minority. Some people are enjoying the freedom and becoming careless. Totalitarianism in Panem is accomplished by the throwing particular discourse that is called you deserve this. Okay, next is underlying theory. Marxism. Marxism is a theory that criticizes the mode of production of capitalism which was pioneered by Karl Marx at the end of 19th century. This theory arose because of the oppression by the bourgeois against the working class where exploitation of humans to continue to operate the production process in the factories belonging to the bourgeois. Marxism continues to develop as capitalism takes a root in various dimensions of life, ranging from education, culture, politics, and economy. According to Franz Magnus in 2001, Marxism is the term for ideology about the relation between economic, social, and political concepts. Marxism is an ideology that studies social, economic, historical, revolutionary problems based on the social conflict in society. According to Jerry Engelson in 2006, Marxism sociology of literature is not just sociology of literature that concerned with how novels are published and whether they include the working class in them. The aim is to explain to on the literary work more fully, which means paying sensitive attention to its form, its goal. In addition, it also captures the understand the form, school, and meanings as the product of a special history. Okay, next is major principles of Marxism. The first is dialectical materialism. Dialectical materialism is a philosophy that sees the words objectively and it is movement. The second is historical materialism. Historical materialism is the view that social transformation from the beginning formation of social group is influenced by materialism factor and or economic factor. Third is class struggle. Generally, class struggle means conflict between the bourgeoisie and proletariat. Class struggle focus on struggle oppressed against the oppressor. Next is alienation. Alienation is a human feeling that feels alienated because of social stratification. The proletariat feels weak or helpless in this capitalistic era because it does not have a handle to be free from its oppressions. Next is revolution. The revolution was a turning point in the struggle of working class to be free from these oppressions. After the revolution, their ideals of realizing system of socialism or communism will be fulfilled. Next is notion of rebellion. Rebellion is an act of disobeying, resisting, revolting, fight against rejection to submit or to bow any authorities that the person thinks they are against his or her goal. A rebel person is the one who rises up and refuses to comply to anything that is forced on him or her things and that is counters his or her belief, or is a threat to his own humanity. Moreover, the rebellion can take different forms. It can be covert or overt. It can be through writings like poetry, novel, and or through the violent such as a fighting. Therefore, whether they choose a peaceful or violent path, their ultimate purpose is anticipation for improvement. In a large conflict, the rebels may be recognized by the established government, in which case the conflict becomes a civil war. Okay, the last chapter is research method. First is type of study. This research is a kind of literary study. It is order how to know the relation among the literary work and the society. It can be classified as a liberal research since the data use various types of literature such as book, thesis, journal, newspaper, internet, and relate to the topic and object, so it supports to answer the research question. Next is object of study. The object of the study is film entitled is The Hunger Game by Susan Collins. The film is produced by Nina Jacobs and John Kelly, released on March 12, 2012. Meanwhile, the data is not taken from the words and sentences in conversation. Action and the behavior of the character also storyline in the film. The researchers uses film and film transcript as the main data source of conducting the research. This film has a phenomenon in the form of power hegemony from the bourgeoisie to hold the uprising of the working class in the storyline. Therefore, this research will be analyzed using Marxism perspective. See the type of data and data sources. First is primary data sources. The film entitled The Hunger Game, directed by Gray Rose, and the primary data sources in this research. It was released in 2012. The duration is 142 minutes. The second is secondary data resources. Secondary data resources are taken from various sources such as a book, research paper, journals, newspaper, or other internet sources that have relevance with this research. Method data collection. The first is watching the movie repeatedly. The second is image capturing. Then is taking notes. Then is composting the founded data into several types based on the categories. The next is technique of the data analysis. First is data reduction. The second is data display, and the last is conclusion drawing and verification. Okay, it's for me. This is my paper, and uh, thank you for the attentions. And the last is I say wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.